All right, so we're going to make a cool Halloween card today using our distress inks, some of my Bic markers. We're going to stamp with some VersaFine, and we're going to use this Halloween stamp here from Anthony's Papercraft, and I will have a link in the description box below on where you can purchase this. So the distress inks I'm going to use is Squeezed Lemonade, Faded Jeans, Seedless Preserves, and Black Soot. And then for the Bic markers, I don't even think these have a name on them, to be honest with you. Oh, they do. Tuxedo Black. This one is Desert Rose, although it's more of a purple. Stone Gray, and Cloud 9 Gray. And then my VersaFine ink. And so the card sizes that we're going to use today are, I have a card base that's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and it's got the top fold on it. Then I also have a second piece of black, and this is 3 3/4 by 5. Then I have a white piece that's 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And lastly, 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. All right. So we can put these aside for now. And the first thing I want to do is grab a scratch piece of paper because we're going to be doing some inking. And I think I'm going to start on this one first. Now what I want to do is I'm going to take this stamp and kind of center it as best as I can. It doesn't really have to be perfect at this point. Make sure you guys are on camera here. And that's about right. And I'm going to take my pencil, and I know that the stamp is a little bit bigger than the actual design that's going to stamp, but that's okay. And I'm just going to lightly go around. So I want the impression of, I want to get a general idea of where this ends up. Perfect. You probably can't see it. I can see it a little bit. And what I want to do is start with my Squeezed Lemonade. That looks good. And I want to go in the center. And a tip that I saw the other day, oops, I'm dropping things, is if you take a piece of tape and you tape it to your fingers, you can actually hold the paper without it moving, and you're not getting your fingers in the ink, which is cool. So we're going to start here, and I want to go just a little bit past that line that I made. And a little heavy on this side because what I'm creating is the glow from that moon. And I kind of want it to glow from outside the house. So I went a little heavy there. And I just want a little bit of glow. And see, this is where it's going to come in, whereas I can hold the paper and not get my fingers dirty. And it's okay at this point if I go a little bit further out because I'm going to be using those other colors to tone it down a little bit. So it's fine. There we go. That looks pretty good. A little bit more up here. There we go. That looks pretty good to me. All right, so now I'm going to start on the other colors. So let's put this aside. And let's start with our Seedless Preserves. Let's get some Seedless Preserves going. That is pretty inky. And I'm going to go right over the edge of that. Slightly. Just a little bit. I know it's darker at the top, but it's okay. I can build up my color. And this is just trial and error. It doesn't even have to be perfect. It just has to be fun. That's all I did, was just start playing and having fun. So we'll go ahead and bring this in. That looks pretty cool. And if you think you blended a little bit too much, just grab the yellow again. There's still ink on there. And just blend it back out, just like that. Cool. Nice. I really like that. And I'm just using just plain cardstock. I'm not even using anything special, really. Just some white cardstock. I think it's either 80 or 100 pound. I'll link in the description box below. Just a big, huge pack I got off Amazon. There we go. That looks pretty cool. All right. So now let's move on to our faded jeans. And when you got your fingers stuck like this, it is kind of hard to pull off your stuff, but but it works. You're not getting your fingers all inky. All right. But you do, as you can see, I'm fumbling because I've got tape now all over my hands. But in all, it is easier than if you didn't have that on there. All right, so now we're going to go along here. Looks cool. Maybe a little bit of a hot mess, but it's okay. It is okay. Cool. I like that. All right, so now let's finish off with the black. And I'm just going to do the edges on that. And I probably need to re-ink the black, but it's okay. Just a little bit on the edges. Let's give that a little bit of night depth sky. After all, this is a Halloween card, right? I might come back in with a little bit more of that purple. Just want to darken up my edges just a little bit. And I went a little bit heavier on the top because obviously I think it's going to be darker at the top than it would be at the bottom, but you can do however you'd like. I think I like the way the black came out, maybe a little bit more on the sides. A little bit on the bottom. All right. I kind of really like that, but I think I want to add a little bit more of that purple in. So let's add a little bit more purple. Just a little bit. just like that. Kind of like almost a fiery sky now. And I think I'll take the yellow and just blend that out a little bit. But I still wanted that purple, and I think I lost a little bit of it. There we go. Yeah, I want a little bit more yellow now. So basically you're just going to go back and forth and play with it until you like what you get. And I kind of like that. But I think I want just to blend the purple with the yellow just a little bit more. There we go. There we go. I like that a lot. Perfect. All right. Now I'm going to put this aside to dry. And we're pretty much going to do the same thing with this one, with the exception of I'm not going to use the yellow or the squeezed lemonade. And this is actually going to get layered on top. So I really only need to do the edges, which is cool. So we are going to start with the seedless preserves on this one. And we just need to go over the edges. And it's a Halloween card, so it can be messy. It's fine. So I'm curious, because I know I have a lot of subscribers both in the United States and quite a bit that are out of the United States. So I'd like to know if you could leave a comment in the comment section below on if you celebrate Halloween, and if you do, what are some of the traditions that you guys do? I know a lot of people do parties, well, at least in the United States, a lot of people I know do parties every year. It's like a really big thing. They invite a lot of people over. We kind of keep it a little low key. We just take our son out trick-or-treating. We go to some friends of ours who live down the street, and we have a dinner with them, and then we take the boys out trick-or-treating, which is always fun. So I'm curious to see what other people do. Ours is pretty low-key. I live in an area that sometimes gets hundreds, sometimes thousands of trick-or-treaters. It just depends. Depends on the year, I guess. Some years we have more, some years we have less, so it's kind of hard to plan for trick-or-treaters. But it's always fun, and the kids always have a lot of fun. So we will go ahead and now use the faded jean on top of that. And that kind of gives it a nice dark purple too. That's pretty cool. Let's see. It's just, as I'm making Halloween cards, I just really can't believe that we're ending or getting towards the end of the year. This year seemed to go by so quick. Really quick. All right. That looks cool. I'm really digging that purple color that this is producing. Those two colors together are awesome. That is cool. I like that a lot. And now that I'm looking at this, I kind of want a little bit more of that on this card. So I'm going to, or that panel. So I'm going to pull this panel back, and I'm going to do a little bit more of that. because I can. That's why, right? I'm really digging how that purple looks. So we're going to do, because I already have this in my hand, we're going to start with this color. And we'll just kind of blend that in like so. We'll pull that off, and then we'll grab the purple. And we'll mix that a little bit on top of that, because I really like that look. It's really cool. Yeah. Nice. That's what I like. Perfect. Nice, nice, nice. That's cool. All right. And now all I want to do next is finish up the dark on the that panel. Let's move that guy aside, and we will finish up this guy. And again, just the edges. Just want to make them a little dark. Nothing major. So I also want to know, I've been looking for those blender brushes that everybody's been using. And I know some people have found them on Amazon. And some people have found them at the Dollar Tree. Well, obviously they're not the name brand. And said that they worked pretty well. I haven't purchased them yet, but when I was at Dollar Tree the other day, I did look for some brushes. My store did not have any. So I'm wondering, do you guys have you guys used those brushes? What are your thoughts? Have you found cheaper alternatives? All that stuff. Make sure you guys leave that in the comment section below, because I would love to know what you guys think of those. They look great. They look like they blend very, very well. They're easy to clean up. So I would love to have some of those. All right. So this needs a few minutes to dry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean up a little bit. I'm going to allow these panels to dry a little bit, because what I'm going to do is stamp on top of this, and I want to make sure that this is dry. So I will pause the camera, clean my hands, and I will be right back. All right, so I am back, and my panel is dry, and I'm going to lay this right here, just like so. I'm going to put my magnets down, but I don't think I'm going to need them. I'm going to pick up my stamp, just like that, and I'm going to ink it up. Close the ink before I drop it. I have before, and there's probably videos of me showing that. And we'll stamp it down. Let's see what that did. Perfect. I love the way that came out. I probably could stamp it one more time, but you know what? I am not going to. I'm going to stop while I am ahead. And I'm just going to wipe my stamp off. Just so this ink doesn't dry on there. Because sometimes VersaFine stains my stamps, which is fine. I mean, I don't mind my stamps getting stained, but especially if I'm using VersaFine, I like to wipe them off, and I'm just using water. And it comes off easy peasy, just like so. All right. So now I'm going to let this dry a second also, because the VersaFine does take a second to dry. So let's put away that. And now it's basically coloring. So you're like, oh no, there's this big old yellow house, but it's okay. So what I'm going to do is now just color my house. And I'm going to color right over the distress ink. So I'm probably going to speed this up quite a bit and put on some good Halloween music for you guys. And I'll meet you back when the coloring's done. I did want to call out that these Bic markers are alcohol markers. If you were using a water-based marker, it would probably react, or it will react with the distress inks that we used. So I just wanted to call out that these are alcohol-based markers. So that's why my ink below is not getting all messed up. All right, so we are in the home stretch here, and I am going to use glue for this panel. And I'm just going to apply a little bit of glue on the back of this. Not a whole heck of a lot. This glue is pretty strong, but I'm going to use glue so that it helps me line it up. I get a few seconds of wiggle room. There we go. Looks good to me. And now this one is going to go on here. Love, love, love that. That looks awesome. Right in the center, like so. Looks good. I love that color combo. Nice. And then for these, I went ahead and added a whole bunch of foam squares to the back. And we're just going to kind of center this a little bit too, as best as I can. Kind of like that. And you got this really cool card. I love the way this came out. This looks awesome. And you would need another, because we're using black cardstock, you would need something to go on the inside so that you can write your sentiment. But I'm not going to do that right now. But I really like the way this came out. I like the color combos that I used. And I hope to see you guys make a card just like this as well. Again, I will have the link to the stamp in the description box below. And don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, bye.